Right now, we're in our community development segment where we delve into the heart of local initiatives and issues that actually shape our communities or neighborhoods. So today we are actually embarking on a journey through the bustling streets of Accra Central Business District. And we are going to uncover the intricate jumble of refuse disposal. So before we get into that, I'd just like to remind you that David actually visited. You visited, and how was the visit actually?
Well, it was interesting. I mean, for me, the question was a few years ago, the president had said that one of his ambitions before the tenure of his office ends was to make Accra one of the most beautiful cities, if not the most beautiful cities, in Africa.
Right.
So it was just a casual Sunday walk through the city to look at the state of affairs, you know. But let's remind you of what the president said 7 years ago.
In Kufuor's time, plans were made, sods were cut, but since then nothing has happened. We're going to begin again. The commitment I want to make is a commitment I want all of us to make. That within these 4 years, by the end of the 4 years of my term in office as president, Accra will be the cleanest city in Africa. That is where we want to get to. That is the commitment I'm making.
All right, so if he even gave himself 4 years, it's been 7. Let's take a look at the state of Accra this weekend, last weekend, when I walked through on a Sunday morning, and we're looking at the state of rubbish and rubbish accumulation in the city of Accra, the CBD, Accra Central. Right now, behind me, you can see a heap of rubbish that is there. Now, at a certain point in time, those who do the collection will go around and collect. But here's the question that we're asking ourselves: why on earth do we have containers, receptacles for rubbish? And back in the day, there used to be these receptacles all over the city, you know, marketplaces, lorry stations, and so on and so forth. But now it appears that these receptacles and containers don't exist anymore. And even if they do, they are in short supply. And so look at what's happening here. You can see the rubbish has been dumped here in the center of the island. This is supposed to be Accra, that was aiming at being one of the most beautiful cities in Africa. All right, I'm right here where I'm standing. If you want to get context, it's directly in front of the Swansea Arcade Kingsway building. All right, the Swansea Arcade Kingsway building, which is not far from the Cocoa Board building. It's also not far from the former CFAO. As you can see there, the ATL building is there. This is where I am. This is where I'm standing. And you can see the rubbish heap directly right here. Now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to drive through Accra, all right, and just show you different points, different stops, different places where there's more rubbish, all through Accra Central. And we're asking the question, is this what we want? Dumping? Collection of rubbish on the ground, dumping like this? Is this what we want? And it's filthy. Accra is actually looking very filthy, and it's a Sunday morning. All right, what happened to the culture of cleanliness and hygiene and cleaning up every evening after ourselves before we go, so that the next morning when you come, it's all clean? All right, so let's take a look. Let's go around. So right here we have another pile of rubbish. It's opposite the GCB, and you can see it here. This is directly opposite the Cocoa Board building. Right between the Cocoa Board and the GCB building. So we're traversing the Accra Central route, and we're going down, and we'll be showing you more of the rubbish heaps as we proceed through Accra Central. Just getting a sense of really what it is that our city has become, you know. Meanwhile, we've been touting the, aims or claims of wanting Accra to be the most beautiful city in Africa. So we're going to go down towards the UTC area. We're currently at a traffic stop. It's a bit of go slow here. I'm not sure we'll take too long. Hopefully we don't take too long in the traffic here. But yeah, the idea is to sort of give us a sense. So we're going past the regional headquarters, the regional police headquarters, and Trotros in typical fashion, indiscriminate parking, lack of discipline, lack of control by authorities. There's a policeman down here, but he doesn't seem to have much sway as far as whatever is happening is concerned. So as we drive through Accra Central, we can get a good sense of what the state of things are like in the heart of the CBD. There's a lot of people selling their wares on the sides of the street. Clearly their market hasn't yet come through. I mean, as in those patrons, and buyers haven't yet come through, but they're setting up, hopefully, ideally waiting for people coming from church, to come and purchase, maybe later on in the day. But we are doing this alongside, understanding what it is that is going on in terms of the hygiene of the city and disposal of waste. Clearly, the rubbish that is generated by people that live or work in the CBD area. And so there has to be a logical way by which we collect and process this waste, and it cannot be that the indiscriminate dumping or the deliberate, collation and collection of rubbish in centers around the city. As you can see here, even here we have gutters. The gutters have been, there's an attempt to desilt gutters, and you can see the amount of filth that is being removed from these gutters. It's a terrible story of what Accra has become. Behind me is the Rollins Park, the once very beautiful edifice of a car park in the center of Accra. Now it's in a state of anomie, disarray, and I really don't know if this is befitting of the stature of the man who Rollins was, and we named this after him. And look at the state in which you can even see from the outside here. There's all kinds of pallets and tables and benches, and it's a mess in here. But it's what we do. We live with it. We manage it. We contain it. Now, through here, you see the street up there goes into the Tudu area, and then to the right of that is the Makola building there, the Makola Market buildings. You can see them there, and then directly behind me is the effigy, the statue of the King Takiteria the First. And so we are right here in Accra Central, looking at the state of rubbish, the state of disarray, the state of disrepair, the state of the beautification of Accra. And so just asking ourselves questions, years ago, the president said that one of his goals by the time he ends his presidency was to make sure that Accra is one of, if not the most beautiful city in Africa. Here we are. We are barely a year from the end of his tenure, and we're just bringing to your attention what things are like in the heart of the city, Accra Central, the CBD. We're going to go along the Makola route and see what we can find over there, and then we'll end up in Tudu. We're just basically showing you what it looks like. I'm here now at the graphic building. Behind me is the Accra Brewery, and so this is, you can get a sense of where we are. We just drove through CMB area, and there's a whole market that is there in the CMB area. It starts from the Accra Regional Police Headquarters and comes all the way through, traverses to the Daily Graphic area. All right, now through the market, unlike what we had seen earlier in places like the Kingsway, Swansea Arcade area, going down towards the regional headquarters and so on, in the CMB area there was very little rubbish, and I have a feeling that it has everything to do with the food and foodstuffs being sold. And so because of that, it appears that the market traders and, you know, those who are involved in the industry there have kept the area neat, of course, because if your patrons come and the place is filthy, they may not buy, you know, even if they need it, they may not buy it from you, you know. So it looked very neat. However, as we've approached the Daily Graphic area, you've noticed the almost like a squalid, you know, settings that are here, with people living in the midst of burning charcoal, in the midst of you know, shacks, and there's a whole lot of I'm not sure how to describe it exactly, but it's pretty messy, you know, right here. And I think that there's so many different levels of this whole issue we call beautification of Accra. I mean, if you look at the road that we traversed just now, the CMB road that we passed and came up, it's horrible, you know. And this is in the heart of Accra Central, and right next to it is a first-class road that is coming from Obechebe right through to Accra Poly area, and then we have the parallel road, which is a Swansea Arcade road. It's a very good road. So what's happened to this one? What's really going on here? You know, so some of these things are the challenges that we're looking at highlighting as we're referring to Accra as the most beautiful city in Africa by the end of the tenure of His Excellency the President. And we're looking at the state of affairs as it is. The rubbish, the disorderliness, the you know, the squalor, basically, and this is what we have here. So there you have it. You make up your minds as to what you think. Is it possible that with all that we have seen so far, okay, starting from the rubbish through to the disorderliness of the way the city is laid out, we went to Rollins Park, you saw what it looked like, and all of that. And now we're here at the end of the CMB concourse, right next to the Daily Graphic. Is it possible that Accra will become the most beautiful city in Africa, considering that this is only the CBD?
All right, so that was a report from David. David, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the visit.
No, I did. You know, a casual walk through Accra,
Right.
just to get a sense, a casual drive through the city, get a sense of what's really happening.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to be on the ground to feel it for yourself and see what it's like.
Yeah.
And this is what people live with all the time.
Exactly, and at this point we actually need answers. So joining us via Zoom is Mr. Solomon Noy, Head of Waste Management at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, known also as the AMA. Hi, Mr. Noy.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning. You are welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you.
All right, I'm sure you watched the report that was played earlier on. So what are the main challenges faced by the AMA in managing the waste in the Central Business District?
All right, so thank you very much. First of all, we have to talk about the quantum in terms of the tonnages of waste that are generated as a result of the activities within the Central Business District. You know, Accra being cosmopolitan, we have a lot of businesses and largely informal, forming about 80% of the businesses within the Central Business District. And as we speak, on a daily basis, we are estimating close to 1,100 and 1,800 metric tons of municipal solid waste that is generated within the Central Business District every day. There is also an outlier. The outlier is the waste generated by second-hand clothing activities, such as those in Katamanto. Of late, the bills that are coming are so poor in quality that even when they open up the bills, about 40% of the stuff is basically waste that has been imported into the country. And this from scratch is discarded onto the streets for us to pick on a daily basis. And it doesn't even form part of our waste generation capabilities.
Yeah.
So with this, we need to plan. When we are planning for the management of waste in the city, we plan based on the waste generation, the per capita waste generation, and this is the data that informs us for the number of fleets, the vehicle to be used for the collection, as well as the infrastructure to manage this waste. As we speak, the infrastructure is not adequate. Through public-private partnership with just one group of companies, we managed to put up what we call a material recovery facility along the Mortuary Road in College. That capacity, that facility can be able to manage just about 400 metric tons of municipal solid waste every day. So the deficit is transported to the dump sites or landfill sites at Adipa beyond Isawam, on the Isawam to Eduri Road. That is about 100 and almost 100 kilometers round trip. And you agree with me, we do this work basically during the night. By 7, 8 p.m., if you come to the CBD, you see the workers over there working. So if we are not able to work against time, so that by 6 a.m. we are done for the truck to move to the dump site. By the time the truck returns around 12, 2 p.m., the market is already established. So whatever leftovers that were there that we could not collect, we'll have to wait till the next day.
Yeah.
And so the fleet that we have cannot adequately manage or collect the entire 1,000 tons plus of waste that is generated on a daily basis. That's number one. Number two, there must be some policies in sanitation and law to be able to back us as a city authority to perform our work. And at this point, what we need is a intercoordinating ministerial committee or a body sort of. Because as we speak, when you take the issue of plastics, Mercy is in there handling plastics as a ministry, and they formulate the policies around the plastic industry. Then we have sanitation ministry dealing with the other waste, and then our mother ministry, the local government. And we certainly need an interministerial coordinating body, because why am I saying so? Over time, we've been hammering the point that certain categories of the plastics, which are very light, the carrier bags, the single use, those ones which are less than 20 microns in terms of their thickness must be phased out so that we increase the sizes, and then it mustn't go for free like it's done in other East African countries. Because why? No matter how much effort you put in cleaning up the city, waste of this nature from these carrier bags, which are very light in weight, very low in density, will be blown by the wind from an adjoining municipality right into your municipality after you are done with your work. So no matter what we do, it will not let the aesthetics glow as you want it. Because as we speak, through the mayor's special initiative, we have hired day sweepers. You see them on the principal streets of Accra, sweeping the streets on a daily basis from 6 a.m. till 12 noon, and at times even 6 p.m. And for how long would they be there for these things later to be there, and we will be doing the cleaning? So a little bit of policy in terms of law enforcement on the part of Mercy to be able to enforce this is what we need. But they are also playing diplomatic about it. Up till now, the national plastic policy that we have is not clear categorically stating this. And if we don't have the infrastructure to be able to manage this type of waste, why are we playing the ostrich? Why are we pretending we can manage this type of problematic plastics when we don't have the infrastructure that is needed to manage them? And so at the end of the day, if you do the cost-benefit analysis, the employment that is generated within this industry, but these plastics, as against the damage caused by the environment. Because if we are able to collect all, currently we are doing close to about 70 to 80% collection out of the total waste generated. So the remaining, what we call 20% or 30% uncollected waste on a daily basis flows into the sea. And as we speak, because of these plastics, because of these discarded textiles, they are choking up our coastline to the extent that some fishes are going extinct. And so why will we play as a safe haven for people to come and establish industries to be producing carrier bags, to be producing single-use plastics at the expense of our environment and the livelihood of our local artisanal fish industry? So that is one challenge. The biggest challenge of all is infrastructure. As we speak, the only engineered landfill site that we had was at the Pool landfill site. But because of this problem that I've enumerated, the capacity of that landfill was supposed to be just 500 metric tons per day. But it ended up receiving 3,000 metric tons of municipal solid waste every day, because Ashaman waste is going there, Teman waste is going there, Kaswa, what we call Adenta, Medina. If you put all these together, we are talking close to over 5,000 metric tons of municipal solid waste generated within the Greater Accra metropolitan area. And we do not have any infrastructure for that. A dam site is not an ideal infrastructure to manage our municipal solid waste. So what we need first, to me, is not landfills. And that is why the Honorable Mayor also launched what we call source separation of our municipal solid waste within the city of Accra. And we are currently in talks with our development partners, such as the C40 cities, the ICLE Africa, we have about 5 agencies, even including our partners from the city of Paris, so that we can institute some measures to be able to construct at least waste digestion facilities, just like we have in Safisana, to be able to handle our source separated organics. Then the remaining dry waste will be taken to a buyback center or a recycling center, where the informal guys will be there to pick up the bits and pieces of the paper, the plastic that they need for off-takers. Then the residual, which will be very small, will now be sent to the landfill site. And as we speak, it is now that the sanitation ministry, in conjunction with the World Bank, is facilitating the processes of getting us waste engineered landfill site within the city of Accra, which will be sited somewhere around the Gan South Municipal Assembly. So these are the few I can mention for now.
Okay. Mr. Noy, you made mention of a couple of things, and the infrastructure, it seems to be a very big one that is impacting heavily on where we find ourselves. There was one question I wanted to ask you. What has happened to those containers that used to sit in marketplaces and the transport centers, transport stations, so that people would throw their rubbish directly into those containers, thereby reducing the amount of work that had to be done in clearing the waste at the end of the day? What happened to those containers? We don't see much of them now.
Yes. So this is what it is. Over time, we've used several methods to be able to control litter within the city.
Yeah.
And this is what happens. Because of the huge generation rates that we encounter in the city,
yeah,
we have zoned all the metropolis into concession for our waste management service providers, i.e. the Zoom Lions, the Jacores, the J. Stanley Wusus, Asadus. We have about 5 companies within AMA alone. And every electoral area is assigned to 1 or 2 service providers.
Okay.
By the end of the day, people within the municipalities deliberately refuse to sign onto the services of these companies by not registering, to be paying the monthly fees for these companies. And as a result, they give their waste to junkies. Junkies are those who are just going about with sacks and then they collect the waste.
Yeah.
They carry it on their head. Some may use tricycles.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they will also not have the means to transport this waste all the way to the landfill site.
Yeah.
Neither will they be able to send it to the material recovery facilities. So they end up dumping such waste either in the drains, in the dead of the night, or behind people's backyard, or look anywhere. So once you place the bin there for litter on the street, they will go and fill up these litter bins that we place at vantage points before daybreak. So instead of maybe you walking and you buy banana and you just want to put the peel into the bin, then these junkies will go and then spread the whole area. So you will see that with time, all the spots where these litter bins have been placed along the street becomes mini dump site and making the aesthetics very, very bad.
Yeah.
So we've run these litter bins that we placed there more than 5 times. We put there, we change the design, it is still not helping, and we can't help it because we do not have the means to be able to employ that needed task force in the huge numbers day and night to patrol the cities and make sure that we do not have the means to be able to pay for the services of these internally generated fund laborers to man the city.
Thank you so much, Mr. Noy. Thank you. We really appreciate your time. So that was Mr. Solomon Noy. He's the head of waste management with the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Of course, enumerating so many of the challenges that they face as an institution to handle Accra's waste. The reality is that our numbers are way beyond what we've been able to finance, in terms of infrastructure and all of that. So there's a lot that needs to be done to be able to actually make Accra a beautiful city. The first thing is just cleaning your waste, and that one, we are struggling with it.